We are thrilled to have this diverse group of thought leaders with us today. Let's get right into the questions. Hattie, I'm going to start with you. There seems to be universal agreement within the business community that division within the country is detrimental to growth and progress. Nonetheless, change seems to be slow in coming. Can the speed of change be accelerated?
We have to. The very existence in our community today requires us to accelerate. We did it during COVID, and now we have to do it moving forward. And it's going to take just a simple process of collaboration across all stakeholders.
Yeah, I agree. I do believe that businesses can accelerate. And what makes businesses change fast is innovation. And with this now more of a priority for businesses more broadly, as businesses apply their deep skills in innovation to three particular areas. Number one, the way that they can become better partners to their customers who themselves seek to be more just and more inclusive. And also to their own team members, not only as a way to attract the best team members and retain the best team members, but also to cultivate the best team member experience, one that really does advance this DE&I agenda, which is so important. And the third is the role that companies play in the community. And by applying the great strength of the innovation in those three areas, I think businesses can definitely take advantage of this time to accelerate change.
Nancy, what are your thoughts? Can the speed of change come faster?
Absolutely. I think that's the right answer. But when you think about it, companies can look both inward and outward to help accelerate that speed of change. The first, I think, is sending a clear message to our elected officials that we want constructive dialogue. And then I think inwardly, we would like to keep that, if we keep the topic of this top of mind as a fundamental part of our culture, that makes a big difference.
Peter, any thoughts?
Of course it can. It can and it must. And I think the key to its acceleration is that there has to be a broad consensus across the country that DE&I initiatives are just, they are necessary. And in order for that to happen, there has to be a re-education of broad swaths of this country that have never really understood the truths of how we got into the situation we're in now and what are the injustices that need to now be remedied.
Right. David, I know you are a leader in this work. What are your thoughts?
We don't just need unity, I would argue. We need a commitment to each other that says we need everybody to progress as a company, as a society, as the city of Dallas. And it means that we have to commit ourselves to each other and helping to address some of these injustices and disparities and inequities in our society.
Great answer, David. Our region does better when we all do better. Thank you all for your comments.
So thank you so much for being here. My question to you all is, does the business community still have more to learn about diversity, equity, and inclusion? And I'll start with Jason.
Yeah, thanks, Jared. In my experience, what we have right now, which really culminated in the events in 2020, is this heightened awareness of how systemic the problems of racism are in our country, and even especially in our Dallas community. This has got the attention of business leaders in a way that it hasn't before. So now, with business leaders embracing DE&I as not just maybe a side project, but as a core effort, that we have the responsibility and the opportunity to make a real lasting and sizable change in our community. So, Jared, yes, we absolutely have a need and ability. And I think we also now have the desire and the determination to learn a lot more as businesses.
Thank you, Jason. Nancy?
Absolutely. And we've just begun the conversation. I think what's exciting is most business communities are excited to get in front of this. There's a lot of positive energy. And as we look at that, we need to reflect on our actions, but more importantly, our non-actions that have actually compounded the problems. I think most companies haven't fully appreciated the tremendous competitive advantage that we can gain when we build diversity and inclusion into our culture. the more we reflect our community that we serve, the better we're all going to be for that.
That was fantastic. David.
Businesses have a responsibility to the communities that we're a part of. And so it starts with listening to these communities, listening to the communities of color, and that have experienced these inequities and injustices, listening to their needs, and then being a part of the solution and getting involved with our philanthropy and our volunteering and our all the involvement that businesses have and should have in our communities.
All right, so I'll go to you, Peter.
The answer, as others have said, is absolutely yes. There is more to learn. If you think back to last year's DRC annual meeting, which feels like 10 lifetimes ago, it was just last year that the fabulous Cint Marshall helped everyone to understand the difference between diversity, equity, and inclusion. And that's a very basic idea that was new to a lot of people. And so if that's where we were starting, we do have a long way to go. The great news is that there is a common understanding now that this is necessary and it's the right thing to do. I think what we specifically have to learn is not just that it's the right thing to do, but that it is going to be good for everybody to do it.
Thank you. That was an awesome answer. And then last but not least, Hattie.
This is really a conscious transformation, and every moment matters. And so we literally have to get up every day conscious in our organizations, conscious in the community, conscious with our faith-based leaders, our government leaders. To truly get where we need to go, it starts in every boardroom, in every CEO's office, but it also is our community leaders, our advocates, our small business, our large business. It is absolutely time for all hands on deck, and the business community can truly drive that, Jared, I believe.
This has been great. Thank you all for being here, but more importantly, thank you for your work and your leadership. Diversity, equity, and inclusion is critical to the success of our region. So thank you so much.